الله الرحمن الرحيم والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين صدق الله العظيم.
Brothers, thank you again. Thanks for your support. We need really justice. Right now, we are in the embassy, inside the embassy. The deputy ambassador, you don't want to come outside. We will wait for a long time. They don't want to come outside. The discrimination started from there. They don't want to come outside. Anyway, thank you again. We are here to give a voice for all our brothers and sisters, Muslim and Christian brothers from Sri Lanka. So right now I have a guest of speaker, former Queen Supreme Court Judge Raphael. He's going to give a small speech for us.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Thomas Raphael, retired Supreme Court Judge County Supreme Court. It's very, very important. Sure. Please keep the sidewalk clear so people can walk through. Very important. You're all born on this planet Earth as human beings. We are born with human rights. And as we grow up, we have all different cultures, religions, different backgrounds. But we're all human beings. And every one of us needs to be respected and treated in an equal and fair manner. Sri Lanka has not followed the understanding of the rest of the world that it is safe to marry in person, and they are violating human rights. And what we need to do is to speak out as we are doing today, to be able to make sure that all people are treated fairly, and that their religious and civil expectations of how they want to bury their family member who dies from COVID fully respected. It should be known as accreditation. So today is very important that everyone is here today speaking out and to get out with I thank the founding member, civil rights of the Congress for Racial Equality all the way back to 1961. And I've worked for civil rights all of my life, and today is one of those days when we all need to speak out. So I urge you all to continue to stand up, speak out what is fair for the people of Sri Lanka instead of violating civil rights. And so I thank you all for being here. Okay. I thank you all for being here to speak out, to show your presence, which is where we need fair treatment. So keep speaking out. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Rafael Judge, for coming here and showing your support. So let me call the next speaker. People clean up the Sidewalk, please. Let these two people for walk. People, brothers, over there, move. Okay, let me call our next speaker, Secretary General, Ambassador to United Nations, Mr. Malik Nabi Abid.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most benevolent. I first congratulate your organizers and all of you. Let me explain you why. You came out of your businesses, for your job, for your home, in such a cold weather, and you showed that you are a living nation. If you don't stand up for your rights, let me assure you, my lifelong experience working for the human rights of everyone, you don't stand up for your rights, no one else will stand up for your rights, and you will continue losing your rights. Let me also explain you that this is the violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is the only document all the countries of the world, United Nations, agreed upon on December 10, 1948. It's a complete violation of the Declaration of Human Rights. It is also a violation of the basic rights of every single human being to practice their religious rights. The International Human Rights Commission have always stood with the people whose rights are violated, and on behalf of the International Human Rights Commission, I assure you that your violation of human rights will be discussed with the Secretary General of Human Rights. It will be taken to, it will also be taken to Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland, and we will also take up the case with the Secretary of State, Pompeo, if he is here after January 20th, which I doubt he will be. But the US government is also urged to raise their voice and make sure that the rights of Christians and Muslim brothers and sisters are not violated and you are given your rights. Thank you so much. God bless you all and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you. Takbir! 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 Let me call next speaker, Nazar. Brother, sidewalk! Brother Nazar.
Yes, it's him.
Brother Nazar. Nazar, please come, Nazar.
Shahid.
Nazar.
Sorry. Hey, side back, please, side back.
Come on, the live is working, right?
Okay. Magan, kaya lang muna yung person.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My dear respected brothers,
Brother, grandmother. Can you stay everybody in the proper line? We could take some pictures professionally and we could put it. Everybody stay in a line.
Please.
Get me ready to pray.
Please.
try to spread the line for
When
me.
you're ready to pray, how you stand just like that, shoulder to shoulder. Or keep the distance, but stay in the line. Then we could take a picture, please.
My dear respected brothers, sisters, and the friends. First and foremost, Jazakumullah khair for your participation today, and we are really appreciated, even in a short notice, to gather such a wonderful crowd here. So for us to make this event even more successful, we need everyone's cooperation. So please try to obey and listen to the marshals and try to give a best, inshallah. With that said, we are gathered here today to express our anger and horror and discuss about the most cruel and lowly practice of Sri Lankan government, and it is so called scientifically advisable. That is possibly burning the bodies of Muslim and Christian victims in Sri Lanka for COVID-19. Since March this year, since the first COVID victim died, the Sri Lankan government has forcibly cremated dozens of bodies of victims despite the protests, pleas and appeal of not only the victims' families but of the community, entire international community. Cremation is against our faith. Losing a loved one is a misery big enough for the families. On top of that, forcibly preventing them from giving the last respect of their loved ones has added to the psychological trauma and shock. This is not only a despicable act and it goes against all moral values and civilized behavior. It is a violation of the right to practice and manifest religious beliefs. It is suppression of the right of minorities. The United Nations has written to the government of Sri Lanka to stop this inhuman practice. The Organization for Islamic Cooperation has written to the government. International human rights organizations such as Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International have asked them to stop it. And civil society organizations like People Rights Group and the Universal Human Rights Council have asked them to. But they are continuing their immoral oppression of minorities. The WHO is in its guidelines has allowed burial as a method of disposing bodies of COVID victims. More than 190 countries allow burial of COVID victims. We asked the government of Sri Lanka, why? Why can't you allow innocent victims to pay the last respect of their lives according to their faith? Why can't you act as a civilized government? What pleasure do you get from oppressing minorities? We'll stand with racism. Jazakumullah khair.
Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Allahu Akbar! Takbir! Takbir! Alright, brothers. Now I'm going to call Zuhair, Brother Zuhair. He's going to read the letter which we gave to President. Great. Assalamu alaikum, brothers. I am going to read the letter that we sent to Our Excellency, President Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Your Excellency, we, the voice for Sri Lankan Muslims in North America, representing the Sri Lankan Muslims living in North America, deeply condemn and show our displeasure about the continuation of forcibly cremating bodies of Muslim victims of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. We are extremely disappointed that government of Sri Lanka forcibly cremated the dead bodies of Muslim COVID-19 victims despite the guidelines of World Health Organization and appeal from local and international organizations, including the United Nations. The Muslims living all over the world are permitted to bury the dead bodies of their COVID-19 victims, as the Islamic faith requires the deceased to be buried in accordance with religious guidance, and it is forbidden to cremate the deceased. The possible cremation of bodies of COVID-19 victims only in Sri Lanka has been causing much pain, anguish and agitation among the Muslims living all over the world. The practice of forcible cremation is also a violation of the fundamental human rights of freedom of belief and worship and freedom of manifest one's benefits. Several Muslim victims in Sri Lanka have been cremated forcibly against the Islamic faith and will of their families. We understand that several interventions taken by the Muslim religious leaders, civil societies and politicians have failed up to date to bring about a constructive solution for the abandonment of the practice of forced cremation. On all occasions of cremations of the families have also been forced to buy coffins for the cremation, adding insult to the injury, thereby demanding and degrading not only the dead but also their families. COVID-19 infectious agents do not survive in the human body after death, according to the World Health Organization. Therefore, it is clearly stated that the mortal remains of COVID-19 victims can be either buried or cremated, respecting the religious and cultural beliefs and practice of the families and their communities. It was regrettable to note that the Ministry of Health in Sri Lanka dictated that bodies can only be cremated, thereby prohibiting the burials. This is contrary not only to the World Health Organization guidelines, but to the practice of over 190 countries and territories that allow both ways of disposal of bodies. There is no evidence from any country in the world that burial of COVID-19 fatalities can cause harm to other humans or to the environment. Further, medical professionals have also cleared the fact that buried remains will not contaminate the water table both locally and internationally. Dr. Prabha Palihavadana, Deputy Director General of Health Service in Sri Lanka, in an interview also supported this position, and the letter sent to the Prime Minister by UN Resident Coordinator for Sri Lanka, Anna Singh, on 12th of November 2020 explains this further. In India, with the population over 1 billion, the Mumbai High Court dismissed such claims and ruled in favor of allowing burial in cemeteries close to thickly populated residential areas in May 2020, observing no significant data support that the COVID-19 spreads through burial of dead bodies. Further, South Asians for Human Rights, SAHR, have expressed their concern over the mandatory cremation in Sri Lanka. We, the Voice for Sri Lankan Muslims in North America, earnestly request Your Excellency to immediately take action to stop forced cremation with any proven scientific evidence of viral spreading upon burial. The World Health Organization and the Center for Disease Control, CDC, in the USA states that the decedent with COVID-19 may be buried or cremated according to the family's preferences. We sincerely believe it is the right of Muslims of Sri Lanka to bury their dead relatives according to their religious beliefs by respecting their funeral rights of allowing to bury the victims. Muslims in Sri Lanka will be able to trust the government and cooperate with the government to come forward in seeking immediate medical help and support future vaccination among the communities. Unless there is clear scientific evidence of any harm in burying, this is a fundamental right of every citizen, of every human being to be given proper final rights according to their family tradition or religious belief. We request your kind indulgence to favorably consider our appeal in this regard and approve the rights of the Muslims living in Sri Lanka for burial of the COVID-19 victims. Thank you. Takbir! 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 Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Let me pass a message to Sri Lankan government. This is very personal for us. This is very personal. Let me read a quote here. No swords are raised. None here expect praise. We don't create commotion. This is not a war. This is raw emotion. Takbir!
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir!